Was Gucci Ma Nuggets? And welcome to the Homie Humpday show of the Raucous Modern Life podcast, where the episodes are fun, light, and filled with shits and giggles. These sods will be ad-free with less editing to highlight the kagaguan of my friends and I. So if you got time to spare, let's get retarded in here. Homie Humpday. Homie Humpday. Homie Humpday. Homie Humpday. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Homie Humpday show of the Raucous Modern Life podcast. And today is all about sports. Now, I'm pretty sure you know who my guests are, but for the sake of those who don't, why don't you introduce yourselves to everyone?
And
Go ahead,
OH.
Clau.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Clau. I'm one half of No One's Home. I am the rapper of the music side and the co-host on the podcast side of our podcast show called No One's Homies. And this is my boy / homie, Mark.
What's
Why
up?
don't you introduce yourself?
What's up? I'm Mark, the other half, the producer half of No One's Home, and the other co-host of No One's Homies. Sounds
Yes,
about
sir.
right.
I think that
Complex
is correct.
roles, you see. Very hard to figure out how we do these things. I know, but, we're jacks of all trades.
No, but it is. And for all of the people that don't know their podcast, make sure to check that stuff out. They haven't been posting in a while, but for sure got some inside intel that they're gonna be back sooner rather than later. I don't want to make any commitments.
In
everything
one
I
way
say with
or
a grain of
another.
salt.
I guess you'll find out by the end,
Yeah.
right? You'll find out by
Yeah,
the end
yeah.
what we came up
Definitely.
with.
Definitely. And I've done a couple of episodes with these guys. I had them on my first season, and then I was on their podcast last December to talk about sports as well. So make sure to check those out if you haven't. They also create music, which is they haven't released any tracks in a
Even
while.
longer than the
Even
podcast.
longer. And that one frustrates me because I'm a fan, and I'm just like, come on, guys.
I think at some point we gotta
Welcome.
lose like the license to call ourselves hosts or musicians if we don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Former-
We're just
former
guys now. at this
podcast,
point. We're just guys that do stuff.
Cool guys naman.
We'll take that.
Well, that's
I'll take it.
we'll take the compliment. I won't use it myself though.
But yeah, like I said, I did an episode with them on their podcast last December. And before we start, I think I just want to give like a disclaimer for those that did check out that podcast. So I was listening to that episode a while ago in my run, and putang ina, dude, my eardrums were dying from my mic. Holy shit, why didn't you guys tell me that my mic was like so fucking loud, dude?
Maybe we're not good enough to notice. I don't know this.
I honestly don't remember it being bad. That's the thing. Like I don't not during recording, and in playback I was like, huh, that
Maybe we
sounds
just got
terrible.
bad
Like,
ears.
Or maybe I'm just like...
Maybe.
Last na lang. Joke lang. But then, yeah, apologies for anybody whose eardrums got shattered in the last
It
episode.
sounds fine now.
Oh.
If that matters.
Thank you. It was about time for an upgrade. But yeah, why don't we get in kick off this episode? So let's start the show with how I always do, with the question, what's poppin'?
What's poppin'?
So what's poppin', guys? How you guys been? What's been keeping y'all busy?
I don't know when was the last episode, but not much has changed, I guess, right?
It was
Except maybe
last
it was-
December.
Yeah, it was still COVID times. It's still
Yeah.
COVID times now. Maybe I don't know
Yeah.
either if you had like any vaccination already, but I
Nope.
haven't. Hopefully
Nah.
soon. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to, I guess. But the good kind. But
Yeah.
any kind's the good
Not-
kind, I guess.
Yeah, any
Not the
vaccine.
bootleg
honest.
kind.
The Divisoria vaccine.
Yeah. I always imagine when you ask like what's poppin', I hear that Jack Harlow song though. What's poppin'?
Definitely.
Isn't that
it always gets me.
the intro for this? Isn't there like a little clip?
Yeah, there's a little sound bite, but I don't got no
Yeah.
music
No
board,
wonder.
so sorry. Low budget tayo
It's like,
rito,
no
dude.
wonder I hear that. Yeah, for me, I think what has changed since December. I don't know. I like in terms of everyday life, it's like not much has changed, like Mark said. But in terms of I don't know work stuff, been doing a lot more like different projects with different sectors. I used to just work with education. Now I'm working with like food security, development programs, and like family development programs, stuff like that. So pretty exciting. I've been pretty happy with the work that I've been doing, and I also, speaking of doing weird things for work, I've recently been hosting a weekly live stream on Kumu. If you guys are familiar, it's like the Filipino live streaming app. I do that with my boss and like 2 other live streamers. We talk about the gospel on Sunday. I'm not even joking, man. Like, my boss is a priest, so
Yeah, Father
he
Tito
brings up,
for
like,
all
the
the
gospel
Ateneans
and-
that know.
yeah, Father Tito Kaluag. Shout out, Fads. You're the best.
Are you play what,
he
like,
brings up the
devil's
topic
advocate?
of.
The literal devil's advocate.
I'm more
It's
like
"Clau, what's your take
No,
on
I'm not
this?"
necessarily. I'm not exactly the devil's advocate, but I am the guy that's always like, and for those of us who are like, those of you who are not
The lay
religious, this is
people,
how
yeah.
you can look at it.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
like this is. I
That's a
just
good
try and
point
I
of
just
view.
try and I try and create that aspect of it. So if anybody's interested in that, which I know it doesn't sound very interesting, to some people it might not
I'm
be, but
interested,
it's
bro.
great because you get like live. You get live comments. You get people's reflections on like certain things about life. I find that kind of conversation interesting. So
What
if you're
time
into
is
that,
it?
it's called
Do you
Kumustahan.
stream it?
It's like 11:30 on Sundays.
Morning,
so,
I guess.
morning, yeah. You can watch it on Kumu or on I Want TFC. Yeah, that was a shameless plug, but that's it's work. So.
Dude, and it's good work that you put in out there, man. How's
Help
Kumu?
Thank you.
people.
How's Kumu been?
Kumu-
Like, the whole
It's
like
fine.
platform.
It's fine. It's actually super professional. Like the people from the organization of Kumu, like from what I've worked with them, they're very efficient. They're very down to earth, and they have their values set. Like they don't allow profanity and they don't allow like
Oh,
X-rated
wow.
stuff on their live streaming platform, and
I
they
mean-
police it super well.
The second
Like
one.
if you
is-
write a word that has the word ass in the middle, like assessment, or no, not assessment, but like you know what I mean, embarrassment, like embarrassment, the ass in embarrassment gets like
It
it
gets
gets
flagged.
yeah, it turns into an asterisk. No, it doesn't get flagged, but the
Oh.
ass part turns into an asterisk.
Oh,
so
shit.
it's like, what is this word?
It would have been
That-
worse. They pulled the
Yeah,
live
but-
stream down.
That's
Eh,
a ha
shut him
asterisk.
down.
Yeah,
Asterisk. So
Yeah. So like
That-
it's yeah, see exactly that's happened. I've seen that comment. But yeah, other than that, it's been great. It's been a great experience. The community is so non-toxic. It's so refreshing.
Is that what they call it? The
when you watch other
community?
live streams.
community.
I don't know.
Community.
That's what we call it. We
That's
used it
pretty
for our
awesome.
branding purposes, and it
Fair
worked.
enough.
So
That's fair
so yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great,
that's
man.
cool, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh,
yeah.
I have one more thing to add. I guess for me and Clau,
What's up?
we are both studying for the GMAT. That is
Oh, right.
one
Oh
thing
yes,
that has
yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
in the time
we were
since.
just talking about that before Mark came in the call.
Pursuing our learning. And,
What do you guys plan on taking up for masters?
I am probably gonna do an MBA, the most common
Okay,
one.
all right. And then Clau,
Mm.
yours is like com dev related or not?
More like a either marketing analysis or like sort of the broadcasting aspect of comms development.
So
but
communications.
I'm
and
trying to- I
marketing
don't wanna be-
focus.
yeah, but I don't want to be like so on the nose and take like a communicate how to start your own YouTube page
Mhm.
course. You know what I mean? That's
Like mga
I feel like
Skillshare.
you don't learn as much as you should. Exactly. Like that's so yeah. And I want yeah, like Mark's been saying, we've been studying for that. I want it to be clear. Mark and I are in no way on the same level. Okay, like Mark is
Why
like,
so?
Mark has been an honor student since he was born, and was actually a scholar in Ateneo. If nobody's aware, he was an academic
shit.
scholar in Ateneo.
Damn, my
But,
guy.
Dude, I'm not kidding, man. Mark
Well, we're
he
taking
doesn't
it.
play around. He doesn't play
You
around.
don't play around.
Yeah.
Damn.
I, on the other hand, I have a lot of heart.
The passion player. The Pat Bev.
I'm the hustle guy.
Hey, you know, I forget the
Coach's
saying.
favorite. Coach's favorite.
Coach's favorite. Doesn't get to play much. But I do have one more thing to add to my personal developments. I've
Let's hear
recently
it.
been playing a lot of basketball. Like
Oh.
maybe since like June or something. I was quiet about it in December because I was kind of shy, and and I only got
Put
my
in the work.
basketball shoes like after that call. So I've been putting in the work, man. You know, playing some 1-on-1 with my brother, some
Hey.
2-on-2 with like my driver. So
Oh, yo, that's some tough
it's
competition.
It's a grind. out
And
here.
so I'll
It's a
take it
grind.
as
Dude,
he's
they got the
calling out
moves.
all of the friends of Clau. He's basically calling you out, but
I want all the
you know.
smoke. I want
Swap
all the
test
smoke. All my
Mundo.
UAP friends, step up to the plate. Step up to the plate, but only in my house because there's no 3-point line.
We play in a traditional basketball.
So
the
what's
way
your-
it was created.
What's your game, Clau? What's your game? Just
Oh,
hustle
bro.
all hard.
Whatever it takes.
No. I you know what? I thought I'd be more of like a post player given my relative size in the Philippines, but as
Fair enough.
I've continued to play, I find myself more comfortable in the perimeter, and I can like drive and kick and whatever, but I really do prefer to shoot for some reason. I didn't see that coming. I've never been a good shooter, even in football. So
Hey, shoot, dog. Shoot.
shoot, yeah,
True.
gotta shoot.
Stay
All right, I
locked
think
in.
that's a great segue to get into our first segment, which is the title of this episode, which is Sports Shmenter. And why don't we check what's in the news today first? Sorry, I don't have the sound clip. I know it kind of sucks. Like I wish I pull that up like real now with that.
No, we would have
Nobody's
had to
saying that.
charge you.
Nobody's saying that, man.
Ah shit. My bad.
Yeah.
My
We would have
royalty
to
fee pala.
charge you.
Yeah. There's royalties. There's royalties, man. That's a Cloud Lapa original, right there.
It's a banger, man. It's a banger. Nakaka LSS. All right, so let's see what's in the news today, and let's start off with the martial arts world. So I'm pretty sure everybody that that isn't even into martial arts, aka myself, like I don't really watch a lot of UFC, saw the whole fiasco with Jake Paul stealing Floyd Mayweather's cap. Meanwhile, these two are pretty big fans of the UFC. So I guess I should just ask you guys, how do you guys feel about that whole thing? Do you think it was rigged, or like do you think it was set up, or
Of course.
Yeah, I think that was pretty clear from maybe at the start. You're like, if I heard it, I'd be like, it could have been real. But then when you watch it, it just looks so staged.
So
People
over
would
the
comment-
top. It's so over
Comment
the top.
like it's worse than WWE like setup. That's what they're saying. Yeah, the Jake Paul came out
I
with the
agree.
merch right after he took Floyd's hat, and then they had their whole press conference afterwards, and it just looked worse and worse. I mean, to sell a fight,
Yeah.
I watched the clip, so that's what they wanted, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
definitely?
I'm gonna
And-
watch the fight,
Yeah.
so
But okay, like, what do you guys feel about this whole celebrities getting into the UFC and like these boxers? I mean, celebrities getting into boxing, and then these like
Boxing,
renowned. I mean, like these all-time boxers like Floyd fighting these like casuals basically. I mean, I don't discredit all the work that they put in, but I mean they're casuals, bro. These other fighters have been working their entire lives.
They're
for this.
amateurs. They're pretty
Yeah.
much they're amateurs. That's
True.
that's like the term for them. Well, if you ask me, man, it's a bit of a shame because there used to be a place for this kind of thing to happen. Like there are amateur leagues. There used to be celebrity boxing leagues like back in the 90s and early 2000s. What's her name? Tonya Harding used to actually like fight in those, and she's pretty damn good. She was the Olympic skater who was very controversial for her husband planning to like injure her competition. But anyway, if you ask me, it's because Jake Paul he's just such an awful character. I just hate him so much.
That does
And he knows how to make money out of that feeling.
It
So
kind
it's
of
even
mixes in,
worse.
right? If it was a nicer celebrity who was like a boxing fan who decided
And
I want to try
succeeding,
my
you know.
skills out, maybe I'd be more positive about it. But the way they do it is they really kind of just use the sport of boxing in this case as like a platform, the same way they use like Vine when they started, YouTube,
Yeah.
whatever social media platform they got famous on. They just use boxing as their next like gimmick. Although they train
Yeah.
hard for sure.
Yeah.
But-
hard.
but it's
hard
like
too.
The way they set up the fights doesn't make it look like they're serious about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Jake
mean-
Paul's fights have been against non-boxers for 3 fights.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
won them, but it's like, what does that really mean?
Yeah, it's like it's not much, and it's just I get what you're saying. Like just the character that he brings to boxing. He's fucking white trash, bro. Like really, like why what? And it's just like discrediting. I feel like it's discrediting all of the other fighters that put in their entire life's work into this, and then just because these
I think-
people have a platform, then
I think
Like-
for fans who or people who aren't like hardcore fans of boxing, I'm not even a hardcore fan of boxing, but I mean, the people who only watch boxing because they see that it's a celebrity on it, those are the people who, I think it will have a negative effect on the sport because they won't be fans of actual skill and competitive matches. They'll be just more for the entertainment. Same, I guess, with the UFC
Mhm.
when people just watch because it's like a Conor McGregor fight without
CM
knowing
Punk.
the real technicalities of MMA. So
But what do
I
you
think
guys-
that can hurt. Yeah.
what do you guys feel about Floyd taking on the challenge? Is this just purely about money, or
I would say
Yes.
yeah.
yes?
Such a Floyd
His
move.
name
Yeah,
is
it's a
literally
Floyd move.
Floyd Money Mayweather. It's a Floyd move.
I mean,
Because, dude,
first
that's
it's
an
it's
easy
an
deal for
exhibition.
him.
It's an exhibition, so he's not
Yeah.
putting his record on the line. He's 50-0,
Yeah,
and
true.
then
Yep.
they're not even fighting at a legit weight class. It's like he goes up to 160, and then Logan Paul has to come down to like 190 or something like that.
Oh, damn.
Which is like, in any real boxing
Damn.
scenario, it's like that's not. They wouldn't allow this.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not even
Yeah,
catch
yeah.
weight.
Yeah.
It's
It's not like
even
let's meet
catch
in the
weight.
middle. It's like you just stay where you're at.
Right.
Stay
Yeah.
where
right.
I'm at. and
But
then
what do you guys
fight.
Meet
think-
as close as we can.
Yeah. What do you guys think is gonna happen, like in the fight? Do you think
I
Jake
don't
Paul's
think
gonna knock him out, or
Ah.
nah? Or is
I don't
Floyd
think it's gonna
knock him
be
out?
enjoyable, but I'll still watch it. I don't think Floyd's
I
gonna
don't
fight
know.
seriously. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think
I
he'll
don't-
put
definitely
that
not.
try.
I've thought about this. It really depends on what they strategize as like a group. Like I'm pretty sure they're strategizing this as a group, and I think it could go like either of a few ways. And the two ways that I think about the most are one, Floyd like beats him decisively and embarrassingly, and it's
Yeah,
like
sure.
like even a knockout, and
Yeah.
and people get that catharsis they've been waiting for, to like finally Jake Paul got knocked the fuck out.
No, it's
Or-
Logan though.
Since it's not gonna count. Oh, sorry, Logan, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, is it Logan?
Yeah, the older
Oh,
one. Jake
okay.
Paul was
Well,
just
I
then,
there in
honestly
the,
don't
the
even
press
know between
con.
those two. They're both like white
I
trash.
thought
to me.
I thought it was Jake Paul. I thought it was Jake
Nah.
Paul. Yeah. Anyway, so he, I think, or Paul like beats him in one, whether it's like by bullshit or whatever. And
I don't think Floyd's getting knocked out though. They wouldn't let.
I
that
don't think he's
happen.
getting knocked out. Yeah, no way.
He wouldn't
No
agree to a
way.
fight where they let him get knocked out.
Yeah, I just
Like,
think that
it'll
this
look
whole
bad
thing
on
is
him.
it's just a terrible clown show, if you ask me. Like, it's just, and for so much money. I just hate that it's for so much money. And like, meanwhile, you have these fighters who they're trying to make this their livelihood, and they're not even getting paid like a fraction of the amount that these, like Floyd. Fine, Floyd's
True.
one of the greatest fighters of all time, but like to ride off of that and bring up somebody like Logan Paul, who is. He's a living piece of garbage, and it frustrates me.
Yeah, and even as a non-fan, I just get so annoyed with just because I'm a sports fan, I just feel like it
Mhm.
kind of disrespects the whole craft of which
Definitely.
martial arts
I
is.
wouldn't say it's a respectful take, but I mean they're allowed to do it. It's just
Yeah.
like And if it makes
Definitely.
money, that's why they're even pushing through with it.
Of course.
I think that like the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. like old man fight was more of a
I'm good with that.
respectable show
Yeah.
of boxing.
I've
than
actually
this.
well watched that.
I'm
so,
fine
like-
with that.
When I
fine.
watched it, I was
Old
like, yo, they trying. I mean, Mike
Yeah,
Tyson more
yeah.
than Roy Jones, but I was like, they're real boxers, so they know they've put in the work to earn this kind of show.
Exactly.
Mhm.
For me,
Mhm.
like Logan Paul and Jake Paul have not, just because of the way they go about it. And then Floyd, I just don't like him because it's just always a money grab for him. Like he sets up fights in such a way that it's not really like a pure competitive spirit type of guy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on
That's
to
true.
more?
I like the way
Yeah.
you put that.
Yeah.
So, but we're still gonna watch it though.
For sure.
Unfortunately.
don't we-
Yeah.
Why don't we move on to more serious, I guess, fighting? Clau, you want to take the floor for this one?
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to mention that in terms of real fighting, like Rocket mentioned, the UFC had a fight night tonight. And it was in the women's flyweight division. It was a really good fight between Marina Rodriguez, which is spelled Rodriguez but pronounced Rodriguez in Portuguese, and versus Michelle Watterson. So Watterson's famous for her taekwondo style, and like she was trending for a bit because she kicked a bottle off of her boyfriend's head on during her open workout. I don't know why, but I just saw it online. But it was such a good fight because it was like they were both such refined stand-up like practitioners. So like Watterson is like a taekwondo, Western kickboxing style, and then Rodriguez was more of like the Brazilian Muay Thai style, and it was such a nice display of stand-up striking. Now Rodriguez was the like pretty heavy favorite, and she kind of outclassed Watterson for the most part, but Watterson did not like roll over. She showed legit technique and heart and power in the fight. So I was just really entertained throughout. It was a full 5-round fight, and it was pretty hard to judge by the third round. But towards the end, you could see that Rodriguez was kind of pulling away. It just got me excited for the women's flyweight division because they have such a dominant champion in Valentina Shevchenko, and she is so damn good. She likes to fight her opponents where they are strongest. So if her opponents are wrestlers, she likes to wrestle them. If they're a striker, she likes to strike them. And then she beats them decisively. So I like seeing the up-and-comers because I want to build them up in my head so that when they fight Valentina and she defeats them, it's still like, wow.
Her trash talk is crazy. If you ever see a clip of like Valentina interview after the fight, she'll say stuff like, to all my future opponents, don't bother looking for a weakness because there is none. I was like, oh,
You won't
so-
find one.
Yeah, you won't find one.
I love
My
it, man.
goodness.
I love seeing.
Gotta love her.
I love
Gotta
seeing
love
women athletes, dude. Like just like the different mentality that they have and that they bring to the table. It's like, it's like a completely different mindset, I guess, when they like approach things because it's like, I don't know. I feel like they're always respectful, but then there's like they're also like dogs inside them, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's I don't know. That was just my
I think.
two
I
cents
think.
on seeing
Well,
fight.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I think maybe I see some part of it in the sense that sports has always been kind of associated with like male bravado, like
Male,
trying to show
yeah.
you're the king or the top dog. So it always gets a bit like competitive, can get toxic at times in
Right.
certain sports, certain rivalries. In women's, for the most part, after they battle, it's pretty respectful. Of course, sometimes they, like any other like human being, if they make comments and then they get like personal, that's where it gets a bit. But for the most part, yeah,
Yeah,
women's MMA has been like a bright spot. Not always competitive though, like Klaus said. There's
I
a
don't-
couple
I-
divisions in the UFC.
Oh
Where the
yeah, where
champions,
it's
at
like
least,
dominated. Yeah,
are
it's
too
dominated.
far. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but ironically,
midfield's
when
like
women's
fine.
when women's MMA was introduced, or when the women's divisions were introduced to the UFC, because the theory was that because they felt like they had to prove that they belonged in the UFC just alongside the men. Every fight was like a barn burner, man. Like it didn't matter if it was a preliminary fight, like before the pay-per-view started. They would go all out, man. As in, grabe. And I thought that, you know what it is that you mentioned, Rock, that I think about too. the mutual respect between women, especially in MMA or in combat sports or in traditionally male categorized sports, is that you already had to do so much to get like the respect to live your life being a professional athlete at that level,
So
and
you're
the
saying
woman,
it's like
you know.
a shared experience. Like the fact that they're both here, they respect each other for.
Yeah, it's
going
like
through
I know
that.
what you had to
Fair
go
enough.
through because I had
Fair
to go
enough.
through that. You know, like I feel like but for most guys, like for guys, especially in MMA, at a certain point, you have freaks like Brock Lesnar. It's like I don't.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? He's like he's 265 but can run like a freight train. Like I can't stop him.
Fair enough.
Dude, so true.
Yeah.
And I also love how they aren't afraid to show their emotion as well, because like, you know, that's a thing that, you know,
Mhm.
male athletes tend to do. Like
Sure.
they try to be like tough guy. Like
Yeah.
after it's like, you know, I deserve
Yeah.
this. I'm the best guy. But then like women, they'll cry in front of the camera. They'll
I think that was maybe.
Thug Rose.
Yeah, maybe that was
Thug
more of
Rose, yes.
a back,
I know her.
like a past way of like seeing male, especially like combat sports
Yes.
athletes as like
Agreed.
meatheads. But I guess nowadays where people are more aware of things like toxic masculinity and just being more
Masculinity.
open about your own personality and things like that. You see a lot more athletes who
Yeah.
are like if we're talking about males who have shown more personality now than ever. Even you catch
Mhm.
like Connor. I was watching a clip of him in an interview where someone read back to him a quote about like how he was saying he'll go crazy just to achieve his dreams back in 2013 when he got in the UFC, and then asking him 2021 is like how do you look back, and then he was like teary-eyed saying like it meant everything to him to actually live a life. So it's like everyone thinks Connor's like a super aggressive basically like a dick, and you see like a moment like that where he
Yeah.
opens up and shows that he appreciates his journey also. It's kind of a nice thing to see in these kinds of sports especially.
Yeah, man. And it's a great movement for sports in general. Like, you know, shouldn't be afraid to show your emotion, and
Yeah.
you know, because you've
Dude,
You-
those are the best moments.
Yeah,
Like, when
exactly.
when you see
Yeah.
that they can't control this whatever persona that they
Yeah.
usually put up, especially in a fight way, because you're always trying to promote yourself or something like that.
exactly.
Very nice to see.
Mm-hmm. All right, so why don't we move on to the next sport? Let's talk about the MLB for a bit. But as I am a baseball player, I know these two are not as informed about
Yeah.
MLB. But now you're about to get informed. So,
Dude, I used to
Yeah. School us.
follow maybe like 2010 to 2015 was like I would play like the MLB 2K
Oh.
games. Or something
Oh, wow,
like
you'd
that.
actually play it.
Oh yeah, I played the
Yeah.
show. I played
Yeah.
the show. Yeah.
So I was like, I looked at your notes.
Or the
for
bigs. I
this
played the
segment.
bigs too.
I know the names at least.
All right,
But,
that's good.
Go
That's
ahead,
good.
Rox.
All right, cool. So,
Cool us.
why don't we start off with the phenom, which is Shohei Ohtani. And my God, this guy. So basically, he's a
A beast.
26-year-old from Japan, and he's just a straight up anomaly, dude. So he's like a nasty pitcher who can throw like knee breaking splitters and cheddar like at 101 miles per hour, which is ridiculous. Like I think the average speed for most MLB pitcher fastballs are about like the low 90s. I think low 90s even.
Oh, really?
Like average, because like including like the breaking ball pitchers.
Oh,
and
okay, sure.
He's also a power hitter, as you can see, for the ones who
Yeah.
are watching the video.
Yeah.
Dude,
leading
the
tied
league.
for the lead still.
Yeah,
for
tied.
home runs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's just crazy how far he's come, because like he was like, I think he was an MVP back in Japan. Don't quote me on this, but yeah, he was a super you know, highly regarded player coming out of Japan, but then he couldn't seem to stay on the field for the first couple of years. So a lot of doubters started coming in, and this year where it's like so far like the first complete season that he's been playing, and just been absolutely tearing it up. And baseball hasn't seen a player like this since Babe Ruth, and I'm pretty sure that
What?
rings a bell, like, you know, the candy bar
For sure.
Ruth.
Well, isn't the idea?
I know Babe Ruth,
correct me if
dude.
I'm wrong, pitchers are usually not hitters. Like,
Exactly.
You don't
Yes.
combo
Yeah.
those things. You don't
Yeah.
look for pitchers who can hit also. You usually you try to get a pinch hitter, or you just try to give them like a sack bunt or something like that to move
Yes.
positions, right?
Exactly.
So this
And
guy.
what makes it even crazier is that he's playing in the American League. So in baseball, there are two leagues. So it's like kind of think of it as a conference, but not exactly because it's spread throughout the entire United States. And the National League, the pitchers have to hit as well. So they have to be in the batting lineup. But in the American League, they have this thing called DH, which is designated hitters. And basically, those guys don't field, but they just hit for the pitcher. So the pitcher, all he has to do is focus on pitching, which is like pretty much where the game is headed right now. Like pitchers are pitchers.
I always found that weird that there was a separate rule.
It's a little bit weird, honestly. Like in my opinion, I think they should just make
designated hitters fine.
Yeah, designate just make it like, you know, a league wide thing. Because like,
better,
you know,
for offense.
Yeah, everybody loves to see home runs and these big boys like come up to the plate, and like instead of these pitchers that like practice like once a week or some shit like that, and you see them just like absolutely whiffing at the ball. But
you'll see moments like what Bartolo Colon hitting a home
oh
run.
yes sir. So for some context, Cloud, this guy was like he's like, you know Bartolo Colon? Or
no. Give me the
right.
context.
So yeah, my bad. So basically, he was just like this fat pitcher, like
he
the
looked
type
like
of guy.
Joey Diaz, dude.
Yes, exactly.
Oh no way! Okay,
the type.
okay.
You know what? I'm gonna show the viewers this too. Like let's share this. So he's basically a fat pitcher. Like if you saw him in the streets, you wouldn't think that he is even a professional athlete. But yeah, we got to see the home run.
I see the
Here.
Joey Diaz comparison.
There. So
He's
43 years old here, and these are his stats. He basically has a 0.089 batting average, and league average is like around 250. He's just like, you know, he's there to pitch, like no doubt about it. Like he's not there for anything else.
Jeez.
And then he comes to San Diego. Look at that average. So it's like he's sitting at 0.89, and everybody knows this is like an automatic out. And out of nowhere, after this pitch, he just absolutely takes it yard, bam, and crushes it, and just crushes it. And they were playing in San Diego, and everybody in the stadium went absolute bonkers. They were like cheering off their seats. And
Wow.
Look at him. Look at that guy. Does he look like a professional athlete to you? I don't think so.
Look at how satisfied his face is. He's just like, I showed you fools. Like,
Dude, it's
y'all
so
doubted
great.
me.
And then like he's gonna do
Carrying
a
the
bat
bat
flip,
by the
carrying.
home run.
Oh my god. Let's see that bat drop. Let's see that. Oh, absolute classic.
Did him dirty.
Did him dirty, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that
So
story.
that's the usual
I'm glad I
pitcher
learned that today.
story, I
Yeah,
guess.
so that basically like kind of he's kind of like a peg of what most pitchers are like. So most pitchers really don't focus on hitting. That's what makes Shohei Ohtani just that much more special. And so the Angels got Shohei Ohtani, and they are lucky about that. But not so good news for another teammate of Shohei, which is
I do
Albert
have one
Pujols.
question.
Oh, what's up,
that
man?
I was thinking when I saw those clips. For Shohei, if he's not starting, does he hit?
Yeah, he's the designated hitter.
Oh,
Which
so they
is
put
so
him in the hitting
crazy.
lineup
Yes,
no matter what.
yes.
Okay.
So he's just playing every single
That's
That's
game,
pretty badass.
Yeah.
and
'Cause
like
you don't start,
Yeah.
you don't pitch every day.
yes,
if you're a
exactly.
starter.
You pitch like once
Maybe-
every
yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like or maybe even
Okay.
more, maybe once a
So they
week.
put him in the DH spot.
Yeah,
That's what
And
I was
it's-
trying to figure out.
and it's just absolutely game changing. Just given the fact that he's in the American League, where they literally signed players for multi-year deals just to hit, and he's hitting in front of them, and he's a
Yeah.
pitcher also. So it's just crazy. And
So does this mean that the sport's gonna like have a new trend, like how Steph Curry changed the 3-point shot, or is this just more like another Zion type, where it's like we're probably
I
not
think
gonna
it's
get
yeah.
another one of these guys?
It's probably more
Yeah,
leaning
the
towards the
latter,
Zion
the
type.
latter.
Yeah, because it's really tough,
baseball,
man.
Okay,
baseball is
okay.
traditionally like a super specialist sport, right? Like you
Yes.
focus on a very specific set of skills. Then, even like
Mhm.
pitchers, like you could be a starter, or you could just be like a closer, where you only
Yeah.
need one special
Like
pitch.
literally
to
one,
finish.
yeah, one inning. You pitch
I-
one inning
I
a
see.
game. But then
Yeah,
like
so it's like
that's
you don't
the reason
really
why
look
I
for
think
these-
it's an anomaly is because just like everything from the training to the the
dude, he
types
looks
of routines,
like a
it's just
a
so different.
specimen.
Yeah,
And I look at him, I'm like, how tall is this guy? Because I mean, Asian people aren't necessarily always
Yeah,
tall. He
this guy's
looks
like
extra
6'4".
tall. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, he
he's
just looks
huge.
like he's built different.
But
He's jacked, man.
yeah.
I was watching. He's a tank. I was just watching him take a base. It's like, my God, get out of this guy's way.
But yeah, so some not so good news on the other side of the team. The Angels just released Albert Pujols. Mark might know Albert Pujols because basically
Yeah.
this guy was like
know this
LeBron
name.
James
He
from
was,
like
he was
2000,
my
2010.
number one pick on my fantasy team in MLB 2K because that's how I would make my team. I was like, I don't have a team to root for, so I'm just gonna get the best players. I used to have Pujols, like Curtis Granderson,
Right, the OGs.
stuff like that. So I was like, he was my number one hitter. This guy.
Well, good
So
pick, man.
what
'cause-
happened here?
So this guy, he was basically like I said, like the LeBron James before, 2 World Series championships, 10-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, and many other accolades for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then he signed a then record-breaking deal which is a 10-year, $253 million contract, which doesn't seem like
Christ.
that much right now compared to what these players are
Yeah.
earning nowadays. But
yeah.
yeah, it was a long ass contract, and pretty much after he signed that, it was like downhill from there. And I guess
10
like
years
is
is too long.
dude, yeah, that's something that
Too long.
baseball needs to adapt, because that's like a baseball thing. Like everybody signs like super super long contracts, and now you're seeing why that's like not the best thing, because he gave them like maybe
Sustainable.
2 good seasons, 2012 to 2014. Then after that, it was like just downhill from there. So pretty sad. I mean, this guy's a legend. So I hope
How
he
old
finds
is he
another
now?
team. He's pretty old, dude. This guy's like, I think he
Yeah.
should be like nearing 40 already. But
Yeah.
baseball players can play till about 45. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna get like bounce around the league for a while. Like a couple of contenders are gonna like sign him for short contracts. But this might be the end of a legend. This guy's a sure ballot Hall of Famer though, like 100%. And yeah, so that's
Damn.
what's going on in the Angels world.
Is there a reason why they're releasing him? Is it just like he's not producing enough?
Yeah, I think he's just straight up not producing enough, and then some of the other people behind him are just performing so much better than him, and it's just kind of like dead weight. But I was honestly surprised by this though. Like, I mean, even Bleacher Report said like, "Wow," because like it
Well-
just came out of nowhere.
It's like if you release like even like the D Wade at the end of their careers, like it's just hard to imagine any team
Yeah.
would want to get rid of him, even just for hold on to him for whatever he can give you, right?
Yeah, good analogy
Yep.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to wrap up the baseball talk, so the Astros visited the Yankee Stadium for the first time since the 2017 playoffs, and that was the year where Houston had the cheating scandal, and Houston played the Yankees in the ALCS, which is basically like a conference finals. So right before heading to the World Series, and they cheated. So they were tipping pitches. I don't want to get into the whole discussion of tipping pitches. If you want to learn more about
I'm
tipping
actually aware of.
Yeah,
I'm
we
aware of
followed
what they
this
did
part,
to
yep.
cheat.
Alright,
Yeah,
so-
Trash cans and all.
Yep. So I don't need to break it down to these guys. If you guys want to learn more about tipping pitches, I have an entire episode on MLB. Make sure to check that out. But yeah, they were just giving them hell. So this is like a batting practice. I don't know how to share sound also, but here we go.
It's in your share screen now.
There we go. So they're basically just shouting, "You're a cheater." So it's just
Well, they're in New York.
they're in New York, so they saw it coming, and
Yeah.
Comes
very
with-
well deserved. So they're screaming "fuck Altuve" right now. So Altuve is like the Houston star player, who was honestly prior to the scandal, he was pretty much like a beloved icon of the MLB. Everybody loved him because he was so small and he was doing so well. But then
I feel like I remember seeing clips of them pointing out like how he cheated or could have cheated. Not
yeah,
specifically him. Like it happened to he was the person batting at the time.
yeah, because it's just, I mean, baseball is literally a game of inches, and literally the split second advantage that you can get when you see a pitch coming can just change the output of everything. And yeah, I don't want to get into it too much. I just wanted to give a little
Yeah.
news update. So we're running.
Spicy.
So we're running a bit long, so I'm gonna like kind of skim through these next couple of updates. So in the football world, we have the UCL finals coming up in a couple of weeks. So
Yes, sir.
Chelsea just beat Madrid 2-0. Man City also beat PSG the other week 2-0 as well. So in the finals, it's gonna be Chelsea versus Man City. And for those of y'all who didn't know, Chelsea is also my team. So my God,
Yeah.
what a time to
weirdly knew
be
this.
alive! What a time
And
to
you guys
be.
are the favorites, right? Like you guys are favored to win, aren't you?
I
Are
think
there?
Man
Yeah.
City still has like a little bit of
Oh,
an
really?
advantage. Yeah,
Okay.
because Chelsea's a young squad. Like I honestly like don't even know who's on the bench.
Fair enough.
I just learned some of these names this year because they've been kind of like going through like some weird limbo the past couple of years, losing
Yeah.
Hazard and
Yes.
all of that other stuff.
Chelsea's
so
like a Knicks-like team. Their owners really gets involved sometimes, so they have bad years.
yeah, but in
They
fairness
had,
to
like,
Chelsea,
the Lampard
Yeah.
episode.
they had but then they had like the Lampard Drogba glory years not so long
True.
ago. Then they had
Was
the
that your last
Hazard.
Champions
I love
League
those
final?
years. I still have a Drogba jersey.
I believe so. Drogba, man, he was the
He
shit.
slipped. John Terry slipped in the
That was
the
that
Champions
was that
League
was
finals.
John
Yeah,
Terry,
that's
wasn't
why.
it?
The
Or was
penalty,
it
the
Lampard?
penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was awful. God,
That was
awful.
awful. Yeah, that was like
Oof.
2010, right? Like
Yeah.
something like
Somewhere 8 to 10.
Yeah, we were in high
10.
school for sure. We were
Yeah.
in high school because we used to reenact it during practice.
that.
Unintentionally. No.
Fuck, that was the shit
It's
though.
just
Like in
really
high
hard.
school,
Yeah,
like whenever there was
unintentionally.
whenever there was like a crazy football moment going on, and then like you're just playing with the boys and you reenact like the Iniesta shot or the
Dude, of course.
all of that
course.
stuff. It's
Like you could really do it.
the
You
Zidane
try, you
headbutt.
try your best. You try your best. Yeah.
But
You do your
yeah.
best.
So that's what's going on in
Hype.
the football world. Hype is real. Chelsea represent Blue City. Let's go. And then meanwhile in the NFL, so the season's over, but the draft happened I think last April 29, and Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback selected first by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't know anything about these prospects, to be completely honest. I'm just sharing it for some of the people that have been fans of the NFL. Then so an interesting note was 3 of the top 5 picks were quarterbacks, and Trey Lance went to the Niners. The Niners are my team, so I was happy with that pick. And it's just dope to see like a lot of QBs go by, because they're kind of like the point guard
Yeah.
counterpart
True.
in the NFL.
They're
like-
basically the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
valuable player.
Yes,
right?
exactly,
Generally
exactly.
speaking.
So yeah, I was happy that the Niners got Trey Lance. I don't know what that means for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if you guys know him.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy
He's
G, the
going
porn
back
star.
Maybe he's going back to the Patriots. I don't know.
Maybe
that's what I was
we'll see. We'll see.
I heard
And
it on like Bill Simmons' podcast. That's about it.
it's possible. I mean, I don't really believe in him. Like in the Super Bowl, he kind of choked for us. Honestly, like the only reason why the game was competitive was because of the handoffs to the running backs. Like he made like 2 nice passes the entire game. So
You were against Pat Mahomes though, right? So
yeah,
it's like
yeah, it's
Tough,
fine, man.
tough stuff.
Yeah.
Tough stuff.
Tough to
Tough
get.
stuff. Yeah.
Tough comparison too.
Yeah.
It's like-
Like you have this one guy throwing like jumping fadeaway throws, and then
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo doing like handoffs. So yeah, it's apples and oranges.
yeah.
Another notable thing.
Sorry, before we move
Sorry, what's up?
on, Mahomes, I just want to say from the last Super Bowl, like some of his throws were just downright ridiculous. Like I don't really
Ridiculous,
watch
man.
a lot of NFL. I was trying to follow it a bit last season, but when I saw what he was doing in the Super Bowl, even I was like, this shit ain't normal. Like this
He
is-
didn't
this
have
is
a
some-
lot of offensive line help in that last
Yeah, yeah.
ending of last season. So
Yeah.
yeah. If
Yeah,
you look
but
at
where he,
the
like, he spun
Chiefs
twice
pickups,
and
they are for that. Yeah. Falling backwards, basically gonna get knocked out,
Yeah,
and then
like
just
crazy,
tried to
crazy.
get a pinpoint pass out there. Pretty crazy, yeah.
It's
Anyway,
great.
I just wanted to give a shout out to the dude. He
Yeah.
fucking
Dude,
deserved
yeah.
it. So
No, and I love how he and Lamar Jackson are kind of changing the game for QBs. Like they're kind
Yeah.
doing more stuff. They're running. They're doing
Yeah,
like these
sure.
falling throws, and it just makes like football a little bit more entertaining. Because honestly, I'm not like a diehard
Yeah.
fan, but like
Mhm.
watching those guys make it like so much more fun, and that's something baseball got to do, because baseball's like viewings have been going down so bad. And
Dude, baseball, like you'll see people doing random stuff in the stands while the game's going on. They're like making the ear cups tower and then knocking it down.
People are like shit-faced drunk. Yeah.
Funny. It's funny in its own way.
because I mean, it's kind of like a social experience also. Like you go with your friends, make
The
cuento.
game has lulls more than
Yeah.
other sports, I would say.
That's the problem, really.
Yeah.
It's the lulls, and then especially now that we're doing like all of these like slow motion replays, and then like all of the umpires come out, and then they're watching, and then the game's already so fucking long. You're like gonna take away so much more time. Like the next thing you know, it's gonna be 6-hour games. But yeah,
I get that.
but yeah, like why don't we move on to the topic that we are all pretty decent fans on, and what we talked about for the bulk of the last episode, which is the NBA.
Yeah.
So, I guess I want to start off the conversation with, I guess, what's your biggest surprise for this year's, since like, the season's ending next week, I think, pretty much next week.
Yeah.
What's your biggest
About,
surprise?
Like 7-8 more games.
Yeah.
But you really gonna make me say it, bro? You really gonna make me say it? It's the New York Knicks, bro.
Let's
It's the New
go!
York Knicks.
Let's go!
Dude, who here, who among us three, even the New York Knicks fan, thought that they'd be doing this well? They are grossly surpassing expectations. You could say overachieving, but I would say surpassing expectations. And I gotta be happy for them, and I'm happy for you guys, for the fans, because you guys were. It's been tough. It's been tough, and you said it. Even Francis on our podcast. For those of you guys who also listen to No One's Homies, we had Francis Yu over, the host of Being Frank, and he was lamenting being a New York Knicks fan. He was like, "I'm moving to Brooklyn, bro. I can't do this anymore. I'm so
Oh shit, he's a
tired."
Knicks fan, pala. I didn't get to catch that episode.
Yeah.
I'm getting him
He's
on
a
my
Knicks fan.
podcast. That's for sure.
Hell yeah. So I'm just happy for you guys. It's been, and Julius Randle, I always liked him. I never saw what was good in him. Like I wanted him to be good, but I never like saw it on the court until this year, and it's just been so nice to see. It looks so good.
Even in the early Lakers days, though, I thought he was gonna be better than
what he
D'Lo.
looked like he was gonna
Yeah.
be.
Dude,
Yeah,
coming from a
Something
Knicks
about
He
it.
is
fan,
now.
coming
is
from a
now.
Knicks fan, I fucking hated him last season. Like literally, I was listening to our episode like last December before the season started, and I was like, I don't think Julius Randle is gonna be on this team for much longer, because this guy fucking is a Beyblade and needs to get the fuck out. And since we drafted Obi Toppin,
We were making fun of the spin
yes,
moves.
the spin moves,
We were
right?
making fun of the
And then
spin
since we
moves,
drafted
yeah.
Obi Toppin, I don't see a long-term future for him. And dude, this guy put in the work, man. This guy is shooting
Yeah.
like 42% from
Truly.
3, and it's
Yes.
dude, our entire offense is basically Julius Randle. Like Julius Randle, and then featuring RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly and Derrick Rose. But for the bulk of it is Julius
Love
Randle.
quickly, by the way.
Dude, right?
It's the Tibbs effect, I guess.
Dude,
I would say part of it
I
is due
guess.
to that. He is a
Dude.
good coach, but I feel like he's a coach that works in specific teams when they click, and it shows really well.
It's
when they're
ridiculous,
young,
man.
I think when they're young,
And when
he
you have
seems to
Derrick
do
Rose.
better when majority of the team is young. And when they have and Taj Gibson.
Taj
Just
Gibson and
need
Derrick
like
Rose,
a
man.
few parts of that old Bulls team to pull it back together.
Bulls team, yeah, that's
Sure,
so
sure.
hilarious.
Dude,
But,
like, honestly, like,
you
I-
mentioned some of this.
What's up?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying,
Go ahead,
like,
go
I
ahead,
thought
go
it was like gonna be like a recipe for another subpar season. Even in the last podcast, I was saying like I was looking forward for this year's draft, because this year's draft was stacked, and I'm like, oh my god, they traded for Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson's here. Is this gonna be Minnesota Part 2? Like, oh my god, like I was really
It's
preparing for the
Bulls
worst.
Part 3.
But dude, like it's just so impressive, like what he's been able to do with the roster. Because like literally at the start of the season, we had the lowest over under in the league. I think the over under was about 22 wins, and like nobody thought that they were even gonna reach that. And just the fact that he was able to pull this team together, like with the pieces that it has, with Alfred fucking Payton as your starting point guard,
Yes.
and you're the number 4 seed. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear my take later for Coach of the Year, but I mean, I don't need to go on.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I think you know what's coming. But yeah, I think that's my surprise. Mark, what about you? If you have any other notable
I
surprises?
would like to toot my own horn that I
That's
think the
dude.
biggest surprise this year was my team, the Phoenix Suns.
Well deserved.
Dude,
Well,
I mean,
well
same
deserved.
as Roque. I didn't think we would be here. I think looking back at the previous episode, I was selling them at like a low playoff seed at best. To be the second
Yeah.
best record in the league is something that I don't think any Suns fan, at least a long-term Suns fan, dreamed of. Because that's like now when you hear the commentators, they compare it back to the '07 Suns, which is like where else? It's like it can't get better than that. At least in my time as a Suns fan, dude. And
Dude,
Chris Paul,
Oh my
looking
God.
ageless,
Dude.
aging like fine
Ah.
wine. With the
Point
Monty
guard.
Williams, who I thought had a shaky year last year, he had good moments. All started with the bubble, I guess. I think
Yeah.
their bubble run kind of set them up for success this year, but I didn't expect it to be this level.
Dude,
and
yeah. And Mikal Bridges is also like
True,
crazy
I
stepping
was gonna
up,
say.
man.
They
I was
got-
gonna say.
they
Yeah.
got rid of
Unafraid.
Kelly Oubre, which I thought was a bit like interesting because I was like,
Good
he's
move.
the guy that you need there as like a third option scorer aside from DeAndre, something like
Yeah,
third,
yeah.
fourth option. But Mikal Bridges, who I like because of like his look, like long, plays defense well, and then now
Mhm.
his offensive game is up there. DeAndre improving also. Just
Mhm.
over the board, overall, like across the board, everyone stepped up, which is like more than I expected.
It's just
Yeah.
crazy, man. The Chris Paul
True.
effect. Like, I'm pretty sure you watched the game, like the past two games that he
Love
played
it.
against the Knicks, like the past 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
and you see the crazy
broke your streak.
falling Chris Paul
Yeah.
shot. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god. But then
He's always been doing that though.
at that point, you just gotta tip your cap, man. Like this guy, he's the
they
guy.
win- the thing I appreciate the most is they win the big games, the tests against top seeds and things like that.
Yep.
They've been able to win a good amount of them to show that they're not just here to be at the playoffs, but they
Yeah.
can actually make a deep run. I think now I'm going with to the moon
Mhm.
with them.
Yeah.
We win it all.
We win it all. And it's just crazy, like how
If LA doesn't make it in to the play-in, I really think the Suns could win it.
dude, yeah. And it's just crazy how the
Yeah,
grades that
yeah.
we gave them at the start of like at our last podcast, like I was like, you know what, the Knicks, they didn't do anything stupid, so I'm gonna give them a C plus. And then like Mark was like, you know what, we
I think like
traded for
B
Chris
plus or
Paul,
something.
but then like I don't think it moves the needle that much, so I'm giving you like a B plus.
Because he's old, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was the idea. Like how much?
Yeah,
can
and
you
injury
do at this
prone.
stage
And
in his
injury
career?
prone. Yeah.
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 But look at us
Still-
now.
I'm so
Who
happy.
would've thought?
I'm so happy.
They
for
still
Chris
got it
Paul,
wrong
man.
with their draft pick though. We missed another one with the Tyrese Halliburton. We could have had them.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
the-
same,
the-
hard
would've
same.
been a huge
the heir
piece.
successor to Chris
Yeah,
Paul.
huge piece.
But
Yep.
we're still moving way ahead of where I thought we would be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Why don't
agreed.
we move on to the biggest disappointments of the year? So
Hmm.
I think if you guys have anyone at the top of your heads, you guys can go for it.
Go ahead.
Some
Go
quick
ahead. Go
ones, I
ahead.
guess.
I'm gonna look at the
Pelicans
stands
maybe,
right now.
right?
Oh yeah, the Pelicans are definitely
Pelicans?
disappointing.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The
No, I
West
just don't
is
think they
tough.
improved. It's like they've had Zion more consistently, which is good, but
Yeah.
for some
Zion
reason they just didn't
improved.
translate it to enough wins yet.
Honestly,
Zion's
for-
legit.
I don't
yeah,
think they
Zion's,
expected it.
Zion's legit. They're gonna need to figure out the whole Batman Robin situation with what's his name?
Ingram.
And Zion,
Ingram.
like, because I think Zion is
Yeah.
definitely your Batman, but then I heard, at least from the Ringer podcast, that like Ingram still kind of has this Batman mentality, like down the stretch he's
Because he
not gonna
can
pass
be.
it.
I think
can.
he can be.
Yeah, he
right?
can be.
But it's like, how do you help the team the best? Which I don't watch I don't even watch that many Pelicans games. But it's just like, it's obvious that Zion should be the number one
Yeah.
guy, right?
Just the things that
Yeah.
he does for like the floor, like when he gets the ball, when he starts going downhill, how everything like around him starts
Yeah.
moving around. Versus like Ingram, it's like
Mhm.
everybody is just like staying pat, and then it's just one-on-one gaming.
Maybe
So
maybe I'm not sure if they have the right coach to make that kind of change. Stan Van Gundy's like a very old school traditional
Yeah.
coach. Maybe they need a young guy to
That's partly
to
why.
put in like some very new culture that will make people buy in.
and it's just surprising because
Yeah.
like Van
They're
Gundy's like
what-
known for like a defensive as a defensive coach, and then they got Steven Adams, and then you have Zion, but then their defense is like the bottom 5 of the league, dude. So I don't get that.
Yep.
Lonzo's playing better too.
Because Zion,
so it's like they
Zion
have
is
pieces
yes, true.
playing well. Weird.
Yeah.
But they're 11.
Honestly, on defense, you need Zion to anchor down. You need him to become like a foundational piece on that end if you want to be more effective too. Because at that size, he should be, but he just isn't. So
Yeah, he has. I feel like
think
he
that's a
hasn't been
big factor
playing
to why their
like
defense takes a hit.
100% also. Like I feel like.
Well, he's out. He's out indefinitely now.
Oh really?
With a
Zion?
fractured finger.
Is
but
a
yeah.
fractured finger.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
I don't think
Yeah.
it matters much at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how under the radar
No.
the Pels have been.
Other
Yeah.
disappointment.
Like,
Celtics.
they were a
right?
threat sort of.
Celtics
Yeah,
are quite are
that's
pretty
the point.
Celtics,
disappointing.
right? Just they're lower than they should be for the talent they have, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they
definitely.
lose a lot of weird games where they shouldn't really lose.
I heard they're having like a lot of chemistry issues actually, like with between
Really?
like Marcus
I
Smart
guess
and
so.
Tristan Thompson. Like according to
Oh,
Kevin
that's
O'Connor
weird.
from the
Yeah.
mismatch, he was saying that like,
I love
Um,
KOC.
dude, I love Kevin O'Candyland, Kenny O'Brien.
Kevin
It's
O-
great.
Kevin Obama. Come on.
Dude, they're both so great. If you guys don't know the
Yes.
mismatch, you gotta check them out. Those guys are
Great Ringer
personalities.
podcast. Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that what they were saying is like Marcus Smart is starting to get like fed up with the fact that he's always being like shopped every single trade deadline. It's just always like, and he's like,
fair.
he's the foundational piece. He's the only
He's
one
the
that's
high
been
value piece though. It's like
Yeah.
you'll be
true.
underappreciated for the work you do, but you'll also be able to be traded for good assets. I get why he, as a personally, you would be offended by it, but at the same time, from a business perspective, it's like this guy's the one that's worth trading the most. The other guys
Yeah.
you
Yep,
won't get
yep.
enough back. This is the only
Yeah.
time where you could either get
I mean,
picks that are valuable, other
Mhm.
assets that would, or players that would make big impact right away because you're trading someone who can do that for the other team.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it
that's
would bother his play. I
that's
would,
fair. But then like like for someone that's stuck around for that long, I mean, he's been there in the year that the Celtics like got Jaylen Brown like pick number
3.
like
He's
like
3.
Jaylen Brown 3,
Three.
and that was their pick, right? Because they were like
Yeah.
god awful, and like
Yeah.
he's been there since then. Like the least you can do is like be transparent about like
True.
whether we're
That's-
actually shopping you or
That's
not.
it. That's really what it is.
That's one thing I always
That's
get
really what it
surprised
is.
with like pro sports teams in general when they don't inform their stars or their big players of plans for whatever reason, right? And you know how it plays out. They get unhappy, they don't play, they end up leaving. Sometimes you get even a worse deal than you would have. So it's kind of weird that they would do it that
Yeah.
way. Because
Right.
Danny Ainge is a
And
smart
if, like,
dude,
if
right?
they don't get traded, it'd make it hard. Yeah.
Danny Ainge is smarter than
Dude,
than this.
he's shifty though. He's shifty. Like that's why they say never pick up the phone when Danny Ainge is the one calling.
Yeah. No,
Because
but-
you're gonna leave the call with no assets and you gave away 2 of yours.
Yeah, but the thing I heard about Danny Ainge is like, obviously take it with a grain of salt. I'm a Knicks fan, so fuck the Celtics. But like I heard about Danny Ainge that like he's a really great trader. Like he'll always come out on top on the trade, but he hasn't done
Yeah.
the trade yet. He's just picking up assets,
True.
and then he has so many picks. He ends up picking like how many picks like in the late 20s, but he hasn't
He's
like
not he's
pushed
not
in
made
all.
the committal one. The
Yeah,
one move
yeah.
that you're saying I'm all in for
Yeah.
this year, for this next 2 years to win. He's always like, I'm good for the
Yeah.
next 4 to 5, right?
Yeah,
Which they are.
exactly.
They always are with
Yeah.
Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So
And Brown.
But I think
and Kemba,
especially.
okay, whatever.
I think especially with this
Kemba could
season,
move.
they're gonna need to make some moves. But Kemba's
But
gonna be a hard one to
Yeah.
move, dude.
They got-
'cause
they-
he has a fat
their
contract.
Yeah.
their previous moves have been similar. Like when they got Gordon Hayward. Maybe Kyrie was the one
Yeah.
time they decided like we should go all in. I guess it didn't
Yeah.
work. That's the only reason
Yeah,
why.
culturally.
But
it
like when they got
definitely
Gordon
didn't work.
Hayward or they got Kemba, they got like a tier 2 NBA superstar, not an an NBA all-star, not a superstar level guy. And that's why it's like sometimes it looks good and sometimes it doesn't because those players are not yet like day in day out. Like,
Yeah,
they're gonna be top level. Cause Kemba struggles sometimes.
yeah, definitely, and he
Yeah.
he struggles to stay on the floor, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yep. Yep. he
it's just
gets
gonna be
injured a lot.
interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do. Number one, how they do in this postseason, and number two, what they do in the off season. Because I think there
Yeah.
needs to be some major moves. Like one of their top 4 pieces, which is like I don't think Brown and Tatum are going anywhere, but Kemba
I think one of them could go if push
think?
comes to shove. It's so hard to
to the
keep
Knicks.
both of
Just
those
kidding.
guys. I mean, like, I think that will be more through contract issues than anything. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
both max guys, I think.
Right. And
when
I
their
think,
contracts come up.
but Jalen signed an
I
extension.
like how he plays.
Yeah.
I like both of them.
I
So
actually
don't know.
really like.
I would-
I have them
I would
both on
like-
2 different fantasy teams. So
They're great.
I would
dude.
keep
They're
both,
great.
but I'm not sure if they can. I'm not sure.
We'll see. But it's
Maybe.
right
one
now.
more
It's
loss. One more loss for the Celtics, I think, was that they basically lost Gordon Hayward for nothing. and
Yeah.
he's playing like a damn boss. You know,
I
when he
know.
is playing, like I feel like that was a loss.
that was an L, and they could have
Charlotte
easily done
is
a
a
sign and
surprise.
trade.
yeah, we didn't say that.
Charlotte is a surprise.
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah,
LaMelo Ball
Charlotte
is a
is-
surprise.
He's for real,
Yeah,
dude.
I
He's
thought
for
he was
real.
all hype. He's
Nah,
real.
dude.
He's real.
This guy's vision is pretty ridiculous.
LeVar knew it all. Him and Lonzo have exceeded expectations.
Do you see that picture of him like on
Oh,
draft night
God.
and his hat and it said like "I told ya."
Nah, I didn't see that one.
Dude,
But
it's-
tell us more. I was like, we're just
Oh,
waiting for
man.
LiAngelo, I guess.
I want gonna dyan. Another disappointment I think this season has to be the Bulls, dude. Like they traded for Vucevic,
Oh, the
which is like
Vucevic.
a godfather like
True.
deal, and then they just been losing, dude.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it was a disappointment before the trade.
Yep.
Because like, dude, it
Yep,
looked like that was
actually,
about
I thought it
where
was
the
pretty
Bulls would
good
be.
before the trade.
And then
Yeah.
when they got the trade, then nothing changed. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
and another
And Levine
team.
dropped off. He
Oh.
just his hot streak dropped off, and so that's kind of why the Bulls have been losing too. You know, it's just
Right.
that's been tough for them.
It's a domino effect. And another team that's also noteworthy,
Yeah.
that's a little disappointing, is Toronto Raptors. I was about to say Kyle Lowry, but the Toronto
Kyle
Raptors,
Lowry.
Kyle Lowry is a
It's
disappointment.
not your fault,
No,
Kyle.
it's not your fault, Kyle. I love
It's
Kyle.
not your fault, Kyle.
I love to see him in the next year. But yeah, the Raptors have been a little bit disappointing. Ever since last year, everybody was like kind of criticizing Siakam for not being the player that they all thought he was going to be, and I think this year it just kind of like proves that, dude. Like he's just
Yeah,
he was thriving off Kawhi during that run, and
Yeah.
then take
yeah.
that type of scorer out, and it's a different story. I mean, Kyle and FVV have been doing great, but can't say it's not disappointing.
Yeah, and I think they
I-
went
I-
through so much. They had so much to deal with too. Like they had to play out of Tampa, and so their home court really doesn't feel like a home court, even like if it has their paint on it. And I just think that you don't have much to work with. You lose Gasol, you lose Ibaka, you have Lowry, but then he's in and out. I guess FVV's been pretty consistent, but the other pieces, like they picked up, what's his name, Aaron Baines. He just didn't work out for
Yeah.
them. He was not the Valanciunas replacement that they wanted. So yeah, tough breaks. I still think they have a bright
I give the
future.
Raptors a pass because I feel like their system or the way their culture is built is long term it'll be okay. Like the Spurs, like they've had off seasons more now because their whole run is over, but I think they'll come back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sure, there's no. I
It-
don't see any team that they could replace it. That's why I'm like, maybe they don't make the playoffs. We'll give a chance to these other like Hornets, stuff like
True.
that.
Yeah.
So
Do you think they'll re-sign Lowry, or do you think Lowry?
I don't think they should.
Else?
I think they should just rebuild anyway.
Yeah, and I don't think any team that does sign Lowry should pay that much.
I don't think Kyle
because
should
I
try
think,
to get
like,
re-signed unless he's just more about the money, which is not a bad thing per se.
Yeah.
But it's just like if he wants another ring, I think he should move on too because they should be upfront and say it's gonna take a while for us to get anything. Like
To the
that-
Knicks. Let's go. Let's go,
Why
Kyle
not?
Lowry.
You just
Why
want to
not?
spoil of riches.
we get everyone.
No,
we're
bring-
getting,
bring
we're
him-
getting
bring him back
Lowry.
to
We're
the-
getting
Bring him
Kawhi.
to the Spurs and reunite him with DeMar.
Getting Kawhi.
Reunite him with DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, that would be so good. I would actually love.
yeah,
to
that would
see
just be a
Yeah.
feel-good story.
That would be feel good, definitely.
Yes.
All right, so I think we're gonna take a break from here. And spoiler alert, well, not really spoiler because
Alright.
we're at the time. This episode, this episode is actually gonna be cut into two. So if you want to check out the second half of this episode, then head on over to No One's Homies podcast to hear our takes on the play-in tournament, the awards such as MVP, Defensive Player, Most Improved Player, and our playoff bowl predictions.
Yep, we got a little bit more to say.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I'll see you guys there. Peace.